Polar bears, pandas, penguins. There's a motivation behind why these species are banner creatures for the ecological development. They're adorable. Photographs of delightful, magnetic creatures help spread the message of contamination, environmental change, territory misfortune, the requirement for wild safeguarding, poaching, thus numerous different issues. It's an incredible system to get individuals to focus on issues that influence these as well as endless other less appealing species. In any case, what's the situation with a portion of these cute and dearest creatures? Which ones do we remain to lose inside the following not many years? The truth may surprise you. Here are only a modest bunch of the cutest species, pictures of which regularly light up our souls and brains during a bustling workday. In any case, those pictures are everything we'll have left on the off chance that we don't act to ensure these animals now. Let's get started. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, subscribe the channel for more cool updates are on their way to you. Number 13. Bornean orangutan. The Bornean orangutan lives in tropical rainforests, bogs and mountain timberlands on the island of Borneo. They essentially invest their energy in trees and can live for as long as 45 years in nature. They are profoundly smart creatures and have been noticed utilizing instruments. Around 100,000 orangutans in Borneo, the world's biggest populace of orangutans, have been lost since 1999, as indicated by a recent report. Roughly 50% of the populace has been influenced by abuse and extraction of common assets primarily for paper and palm oil. Logging, deforestation and industrialization are at fault for the orangutans' decrease. Chasing is likewise a main consideration. NPR reports that Borneo has the biggest deforestation rates on the planet, with a normal 865,000 sections of land cleared each year somewhere in the range of 2001 and 2016. As indicated by the Center for International Forestry Research. On a to some degree positive note, the Bornean orangutan is a tough creature. They can stroll on the ground for specific distances. They can likewise benefit from plants like acacia or palm that are not their common food, researcher Maria Voigt told NPR. So they could possibly get by in scenes where you have conjunction between improvement, as far as estates, and woods, as long as there is sufficient timberland for them to endure and they are not murdered. Nonetheless, they are as yet at risk for going terminated with simply around 70,000 to 100,000 remaining. Number 12. African lion. Quite possibly the most venerated and darling animals in the world faces elimination in the wild in simply a question of many years. African lions acquired security under the Endangered Species Act in 2015. Anyway, the species is projected to lose another 50% of their populace over the course of the following 20 years. They possibly could be gone from the wild completely by 2050, reports Scientific American. As indicated by that report, the lion populace is assessed to be less than 34,000 creatures, and around 70% of those live in only 10 districts in southern and eastern Africa. Lions are extirpated altogether from numerous chronicled territories. Living space misfortune, loss of prey, sport chasing and retaliatory killing by animals. Farmers are four basic issues confronting lions today. Number 11. African elephant. Specialists gauge this grand and shrewd species could be gone when 2020, as indicated by certain evaluations. The reason for their misfortune is because of the significant ascent in ivory poaching. Somewhere in the range of 2010 and 2013, Africa lost a normal of 7% of its whole elephant populace every year, specialists found. Elephant births just lift the populace by 5% every year, so a bigger number of elephants are being killed every year than are being conceived, reports International Business Times. Losing elephants isn't just about the deficiency of a famous species. It's likewise calamitous for the biological systems where elephants reside. The enormous creatures hugely affect their environmental factors. As the gathering behind World Elephant Day puts it, the deficiency of elephants seriously influences numerous species that rely upon elephant-kept-up environments and causes significant territory tumult and a debilitating to the construction and variety of nature itself. To lose the elephant is to lose an ecological overseer and a creature from which we have a lot to learn. The essential method to help elephants is to end poaching, including preparing and appropriately preparing officers and, maybe more significantly, making the acquisition of ivory items socially inadmissible. Number 10. Polar bear. Long the perfect example of an unnatural weather change, it's conceivable that 66% of polar bears will be gone perpetually by 2050 due basically to a diminishing in ice pack, and in this manner a lessening in admittance to prey. The best gauges we have show that we'll most likely lose somewhere near 66% of the world's polar bears somewhere near mid-century. Just dependent on the straightforward reality that we're losing ocean ice. Andrew Derricker, an educator of natural sciences at the University of Alberta, told the BBC. No ocean ice implies no seals. What's more, no seals implies no polar bears. Indeed, even in regions where polar bears get an opportunity of enduring, including the Canadian Arctic Islands and some waterfront spaces of northern Greenland, polar bears will confront transforms they might have the option to adjust to, like change in prey accessibility or even hybridization with earthy-colored bears. Number 9. American pica. This rabbit-like rat is found in high mountain biological systems in the North American West. The small chunks of cushion are known for their sharp calls, which they convey to guarantee an area and draw in mates. All around adjusted to the freezing elevated life, the American pica can't endure warm and can kick the bucket when presented to temperatures over 78 degrees for in excess of a couple of hours. Yet, environmental change is carrying these warm temperatures to the mountain homes of pica. While the species has had the option to get away from heat by moving upslope into higher heights, there isn't elsewhere for the little rodents to go. As per the National Wildlife Federation, they have effectively vanished from more than 33% of their recently known territory in Oregon and Nevada. Presently, the circumstance is critical to the point that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is thinking about the pica for security under the Endangered Species Act. Researchers currently dread that these good animals may not endure a worldwide temperature alteration. PC models show that the inside West will warm by somewhere in the range of 4.5 degrees to 14.4 degrees Fahrenheit during the following century. Taking into account that picas are vanishing from their authentic reaches after a temperature ascent of only 1 degree, it's impossible they'll have the option to adjust as their homes heat up. Number 8. Amur leopard. Needing a splendid spot now in the rundown? We have one with this spotted feline, the Amur panther. Down to just around 30 people on the planet starting at 2007, protection endeavors from that point forward have helped the species more than twofold its populace to up of 65 people starting at a 2015 enumeration. Of these panthers, 57 were found in Russia's Land of the Leopard National Park. Between security and natural life jelly to hostage reproducing programs, this species actually sticks to presence. The Amur panther isn't free and clear yet. There's as yet a genuine possibility this jeopardized enormous feline could be gone in years and years. Yet, fortunately there are bits of the protection puzzle set up that are assisting this feline with getting away from elimination. Number 7. Siberian tiger. One more enormous feline in the focus for annihilation, the Siberian tiger, or Amur tiger. At the point when an animal type turns out to be low in populace, it additionally turns out to be low in hereditary variety. Widespread chasing and poaching brought the complete populace of Amur tigers down to 30 or 40 people by 1940. The genetic supply has never recuperated. Starting at a recent report, the compelling populace of wild Amur tigers was only 14 people. Around 500 Amur tigers really get by in the wild, yet the successful populace is a proportion of the hereditary variety of the world's biggest feline. Low variety implies any weakness to illness or uncommon hereditary problems is probably going to be given to the future. So these outcomes paint a dismal picture for the tiger's possibility of endurance, reports the BBC. Recently, Smithsonian's Matthew Shaer composed of a restored Siberian tiger delivered into the wild that could very well be quick to mate and have whelps with a wild tiger. Assuming that is the situation, she may address the slightest hint of something better over the horizon that the wild Siberian tiger may continue. Number 6. Mountain gorilla. Less than 900 mountain gorillas meander high-rise African woodlands today. A significant part of the danger to their future comes from deforestation, infringement by people and the spread of human sicknesses, like pneumonia and flu. Another danger to the species is the inbreeding that accompanies living in little populaces. Be that as it may, a new report may warily quiet researchers' feelings of dread about an absence of hereditary variety. Researchers are saying that numerous hurtful hereditary varieties had indeed been taken out from the populace through inbreeding, and that mountain gorillas are hereditarily adjusting to making do in little populaces, reports Nature World News. A positive piece of this current species story is that the quantity of people in certain populaces are on the ascent, because of committed protection work. Yet, as a CNN report alerts, despite the gradually ascending populace in Rwanda, the mountain gorilla's future remaining parts in risk. Last time anyone checked, there were only 880 remaining in the world. I'm mindfully hopeful, yet I realize that their termination is something that could occur, said Veronica Vecellio, the Fossey Fund's Rwanda-based examination director. Number 5. Wild Bactrian camel. The wild Bactrian camel is an animal type particular from the more recognizable trained Bactrian camel. Though there are more than 2 million homegrown camels in Central Asia, there are just 600 wild Bactrian camels in China and an expected 800 in Mongolia. The species is considered basically jeopardized. Those equivalent cousin camels, alongside other animals, contend with the wild camel for food and water being an amazingly scant asset in the brutal bone-dry climate where camels reside. There are 2 stores in the Gobi Desert that are home to wild Bactrian camels, and a hostage-rearing project is working to repopulate the species here. Notwithstanding, they are preceded with dangers including poaching, which executes 45 to 50 camels per year in the safe havens, trouble getting to water, hybridization with homegrown camels, which brings about barren people, and relocating out of the safe havens. These odd however charming creatures may not make do in the wild any longer with the blast of dangers coming at them. Be that as it may, the Wild Camel Protection Foundation isn't surrendering trust. Prime supporter John Hare composed on National Geographic recently, "Time isn't their ally. Every year in China and Mongolia the dangers increment, and characteristic renewal of camel numbers is moderate. We will probably protect the wild camel's interesting hereditary cosmetics for people in the future and to bring new blood into the wild populace by delivering camels we breed into their normal environment." Number 4. Chinese alligator. The Chinese gator is one of just 2 croc species on the planet, and is a smaller than usual form of its cousin, the American crocodile. Of this little species, less than 120 are left in nature. The wild populaces declined quickly during the 1980s and 1990s from living space fracture, contamination from compost and pesticides, optional harming from rodenticides, and from individuals executing them out of dread or counter, as the gators will in general appreciate eating on ducks raised by neighborhood ranchers. Likewise, the tunnels the crocodiles use for winter torpidity can destroy the channel frameworks developed for agrarian waste. The absence of affection for the species joined with the absence of natural surroundings implies that time is expiring for this species. In spite of the fact that there are a large number of Chinese gators living in imprisonment, the species is considered fundamentally jeopardized in light of the fact that they are totally gone from their normal living spaces, which is riparian regions that have now become essentially rice paddies. Expanding their numbers is a human relations issue. Once again introducing hostage-reared crocodiles to the wild, something that started in 2003, possibly works if concurrence techniques are instituted at the same time. Also, changing personalities about living close by crocs is a daunting struggle. Untamed Life Conservation Society China horridly notes, except if outrageous moves are made, the Chinese gator will get wiped out in nature. Number 3. Pangolin. These superbly strange and adorable creatures are the solitary vertebrate to have a shield of scales. They're known for their folding walk and for folding into a ball when they feel undermined. There are 8 types of pangolins found in Africa and Asia. Pangolins are acquiring acknowledgement yet not for a valid justification. They are the most dealt with creature the world with an expected 100,000 caught each year, addressing a unimaginable 20% of the whole untamed life underground market. They are caught for their meat or scales, which are utilized in customary medication, however they don't have demonstrated therapeutic properties. Consolidating the amazing rate at which they are caught just as environment misfortune, pangolin numbers have plunged and every one of the 8 types of pangolin are considered under danger for elimination, and 2 species are recorded as fundamentally jeopardized. The upside to the pangolin's expanded press is that preservation endeavors are increase. In 2014, the IUCN-SSC Pangolin Specialist Group dispatched an activity plan that centers around securing pangolins in the wild, lessening poaching in nearby networks, improving the strength of enactment and authorization, and in particular, decreasing buyer interest. Be that as it may, the gathering notes, low degrees of mindfulness, inadequate political will, and little interest in pangolin protection to date conveys tending to these intimidations all the really difficult. With more than 1 million pangolins taken from the wild in the course of the most recent 10 years, it will take a sensational decrease in poaching levels to guarantee the pangolin perseveres for people in the future. Number 2. Large skipper butterfly. Many butterfly species are in peril because of environmental change, including this entertainingly animation-like enormous captain. A recent report distributed in Nature tracked down that few local British butterfly species are in danger of annihilation by 2050 because of environmental change-instigated dry seasons. The enormous captain is an animal type's touchy to dry spells and battles to recuperate after such occasions. With dry spells prone to be more incessant and serious, it's improbable the huge captain and also delicate species will actually want to adapt. Those of us who have dealt with this for quite a while, we thought we had longer. Camille Parmesan, a scholar at Plymouth University in the UK who contemplates environmental change's effects on natural life, disclosed to Inside Climate News. Discharge rates have expanded each year. The environment is changing more than we suspected and a few frameworks are more delicate than we suspected. As per the investigation specialists, fossil fuel byproducts would need to be definitely diminished just to allow the species a 50% opportunity of making it to 2100. Number 1. Sumatran orangutan. Our own personal close cousins in the extraordinary primate family, the Sumatran orangutan, may lose its quality in the wild in only a couple brief years. Termination in the wild is likely in the following 10 years for Sumatran orangutans and not long after for Bornean orangutans. Expresses the Orangutan Project. The critical dangers to endurance for this tree-bound species are logging, fires from clearing land for palm oil estates, chasing for meat and slaughtering grown-up females to take their babies and sell them as pets on the bootleg market. The species presently is discovered distinctly in a couple of divided populaces in the north of Sumatra. Just 6 of these populaces have in excess of 250 people. At no other time has their very presence been compromised so harshly, states the Orangutan Conservancy. Monetary emergency joined with catastrophic events and human maltreatment of the timberland are pushing probably the nearest cousin to annihilation. Specialists banter on the number of plant and creature species, similar to the huge captain, will be focused on elimination by 2050. A few evaluations put it however much 1 out of 10 species while different assessments put it at more like 25%. Be that as it may, the fact of the matter is an immense range of them are probably going to be gone perpetually from the wild without huge change. In the event that there's an opportunity to make a plunge and begin helping, it's currently. Comment your ideas below. Subscribe and goodbye till the next video.